Success. Media. Network. 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 Network.
This is your show.
Good day, Successors. I am Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success, number 25, where I chat with successful people and entrepreneurs about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Today, we're talking to Nealy Fischer. While splitting her time between Hong Kong, Israel, and the United States, Nealy is the founder of The Flexible Chef, an organization that has helped countless people eat well, move more, and ultimately crave a healthier lifestyle. Her mission to help others live a more craveable life has resulted in the design and execution of immersive cooking events, luxury yoga retreats, and women's wellness empowerment programs with renowned health professionals. Nealy, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
I am ready. Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to be here with you. Your intro is pretty interesting, but we don't know anything about your personal life. How about you give us a little hint?
Ooh, my personal life. Okay. Well, I just landed in Hong Kong from Israel last night, so I'm kind of a little bit everywhere all the time. I'm happily married. I've been married for 18 years, and I have 4 children ranging from 4 years old to 15 years old. So in between running the website and creating food videos and teaching around the world, I make breakfast and dinner every day.
Yeah, needless to say, your household is pretty busy, huh?
That is correct.
Okay, for those who may not know, tell us a little bit more about The Flexible Chef, what it is, and what inspired you to create it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. Well, The Flexible Chef is a wellness, food, and lifestyle brand. And essentially, I help people make the life that they want fit into the life they already have. I mean, how many times have you seen a diet recommendation, or someone says to you like, hey, you should really adopt running, but it just doesn't work for you? And we're all, I mean, yeah, sure, my life is busy, but so is yours, and so is everybody else listening, I'm sure. And so the idea is to try to make all the wellness decisions that we make fit into the current program that we're already living. The idea is to empower you with confidence to live a happy, healthy, and fulfilled life, both inside and outside the kitchen. And I share simple strategies that anyone can become more chef-like in their life.
You know, and that's funny because that shows how powerful the things you do in the kitchen can affect your life outside of the kitchen.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And how much the food that we eat and the choices that we make affect how we feel and how we live.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. What is your personal key rule for being a flexible chef?
So it's interesting. If you think about flexibility, and I come from a yoga background, I've been teaching in some capacity or another for the last 2 decades or so. If you think about flexibility, it's very difficult to be flexible unless you have a certain strength, a certain level of foundation, right? And I mean, you think about a rod, like it has to have a certain structure in order for it to bend and then bounce back to center, right? So the key to being flexible is actually the opposite. It's to ignite a certain structure in your life, right? Like you and I were just chatting before, and I said, I just got in last night and I went for a run already. Like my structure is I have to work out every single morning in order to start my day out with energy. Do I sometimes miss a workout? Am I sometimes flexible about missing my workouts? Of course. But to create a certain structure in your life is key. And then it translates, of course, into the simplest things like creating a recipe, like making, making brownies. It's like, how do you follow a certain template recipe, right? And you got to like practice it and read up on it and understand the proportions and the ratios. And then you go like, oh shoot, I ran out of almond milk. What do I substitute? Maybe I should make a different recipe because I don't have all those ingredients today or something. So it applies in all areas of your life, including the kitchen.
I really like that because when you become flexible in the kitchen, then you don't necessarily have those deficit problems because you already have learned other alternatives that are available. I like that.
Absolutely. I mean, how often have you said, all right, tonight I'm making butternut squash soup. I don't know. And you go to the supermarket and they're out of butternut squash. What do you do? Do you run around? Do you go to like 10 other supermarkets to find butternut squash? Or do you, I don't know, say substitute carrots or sweet potato or make a broccoli soup because that's what's available, you know?
Right. Yeah. Instead of, frowning and going, my meal's ruined. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's good. Okay, so we talked earlier. I love being in the kitchen. I love cooking. I always post photos of my meals and everything. So, this is a really cool conversation for me personally. So now, as far as your cooking and everything, what's your favorite recipe you love to eat? And what is your favorite recipe you love to create?
Ooh, good question. I'm personally obsessed with cauliflower right now. Do you like cauliflower?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh my gosh. And it's of course all the rage everywhere and everyone's making
pizza crust and rice.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So speaking of pizza crust, my latest favorite recipe is something that I call a cauliflower pizza steak. I actually just did a YouTube video on it. Because the cauliflower pizza is cool and all, except it takes a lot of time. You have to get the cauliflower ready, squeeze out the water, mix it in, make the crust. With cauliflower pizza steaks, all you do is you slice a big thick chunk of the cauliflower. You get like about 3 or 4 steaks out of each floret, big cauliflower. And then you just either roast it first and then add sauce and cheese, or you could just do the sauce and the cheese and pop it in a hot oven. And you get this like crispy caramelized chunk of cauliflower with tomato sauce and cheese, and it's absolutely delicious.
Mm-hmm. And you can kind of get the consistency or texture to a meat-like similarity. I've done that before. It's really good.
Yeah.
What is your most family requested recipe?
Oh gosh,
they have you at their disposal.
They do. And by the way, speaking of flexibility, honestly, if I served kale salad every night to my 4 children, I think they would disown me. So I need to be flexible about giving them like kid food that they actually want, right? Do you know what? They're like real kids. They like chicken nuggets and all that kind of thing. But what I do is I do something kind of like a salad bar, but it's a pasta bar. So we have all sorts of different pastas, spaghetti and penne and all this stuff. We're gluten-free at home, so it's all gluten-free. Mm-hmm. And all different toppings. And everyone gets to choose what they want. And then we pop it in a fry pan, kind of mix up the ingredients with the pasta, and everyone gets their own like homemade pasta. So that's a favorite at home. Yeah,
that sounds fun. And you mentioned being gluten-free. Now, what inspired you to go gluten-free? Did you have any issues did somebody in the family have any issues with gluten?
Yeah, so it's funny. I went gluten-free about 10 years ago. Before anyone knew what gluten-free was, by the way. Like, is that crazy that 10 years ago, it just wasn't a thing? Like, you couldn't get gluten-free bread in the supermarkets?
Wait. You mean just like podcasting? Because it's about 10 to 12 years old, and now all of a sudden, bam, is a huge explosion. So
exactly.
I get it.
It didn't always exist. I went gluten-free before the days where things like apples in the supermarket were labeled gluten-free.
Right.
I actually had gone to a kind of holistic nutritionist because I was having some bloating issues. My oldest son, who was 5 years old or so at the time, was having some abdominal issues I was really worried about. My younger son, he was probably 2 at the time, had asthma. And I didn't know like what was going on. Like we just weren't feeling well. And she was like, you should go gluten-free. And I'm like, what's that? And so I got educated about it from a health standpoint. And honestly, like within a month, I know this sounds like crazy and I'm not getting paid by like the Gluten-Free Association of America to say this, but honestly, within like a month, my son's asthma went away almost forever. And the bloating issues that we were like really worried about with my 5-year-old immediately disappeared. And I lost like a couple pounds and like was never bloated again. Like it's ridiculous.
Wow.
So the health benefits were so great that we just kept it up. And of course, these days eating gluten-free doesn't always mean healthy, right? I mean, obviously you can buy anything from chips to crisps to cookies and stuff. So you have to watch out for that.
Yeah. There's junk food in every category.
Absolutely.
Oh man, do you find that there's one particular thing that's very difficult to find gluten-free, or that actually when you cook it in a gluten-free version, it just is no good?
Breads are getting easier and better. So I would have said bread like about 2 years ago, but now it's great. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that question, because I really feel like you can make anything work, and also like your palate starts to change.
Yes.
So I used to eat like bagels. Okay, bagels are actually probably a good example. I don't think bagels are great gluten-free, for example. But I used to have like a bagel a day when I lived in New York, and I looked like I had a bagel a day when I lived in New York. But like, I don't really crave them anymore. So even if I have a gluten-free bagel, it doesn't like bother me that it doesn't taste the same, because I just don't crave it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. What was your first entrepreneurial venture, and how old were you?
Oh, wow. So I'm 39 now. So I guess I was about 29. I launched something called Yoga Beat, BEET, and I ran luxury yoga retreats across Asia. And they had a component. It's funny. It was actually like the pre-flexible chef, I suppose, in my early days. I didn't quite know how to put all the pieces together, but I brought a group of women, and we kind of flew off somewhere and did yoga in the morning and yoga all afternoon, and worked with the chefs and cooked some healthy food and stuff. So that was my first thing, yoga retreats.
Man, I love that. That's cool. All right, as we know, life's a roller coaster. It's a giant roller coaster of who knows what's about to happen. And nothing always remains positive or good, you know. What is the time in your life throughout your journey when you felt most unsuccessful?
Well, my answer is very personal. So about 7 years or so ago, I lost a baby mid-pregnancy, actually quite late. I was about 22 weeks pregnant. And I was teaching yoga at the time at a big studio in Hong Kong, and feeling great. You know, I was about to have my fourth child, and life just kind of threw me totally off. I think I probably spent a week crying in bed, and then another week trying to like figure out what I was supposed to be doing with my life. And I'm, not everyone has a tragic moment like that, but everyone has had a moment where, right, like we all feel like we're at our rock bottom. Is my life worth living anymore? What is my potential? What am I supposed to be doing? And when you see the potential of life, of the end of life, you start to get a perspective. And so you have two choices in those moments. You can either get stuck and stay stuck. And a lot of people just stay stuck, right? Life sucks. I stay stuck in my rut. So I had a choice to stay stuck or to get the heck out of there, because life is short, and what's my potential, and am I living it? So actually, about 6 months after I lost the baby, I founded an organization called Maya Movement. We had named the baby Maya. So Maya Movement was kind of like my fourth child for a while, where I inspired particularly women how to ignite their potential in life. And that was, again, like a little bit of the prequel leading up to the Flexible Chef as well. And we did immersive live events, and it was pretty amazing. I would say Maya Movement in a large way was my healing process.
Wow, that was a very powerful story. Thank you very much for sharing that personal moment there. Wow. What do you feel was the one hardest thing for you to overcome in your business, but you've since conquered that?
I think putting myself out there. The Flexible Chef is it's a brand, but it's actually me. It's me. It's my face. It's me on video. It's like I had to get over the little voice in my head saying that I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't pretty enough, or I wasn't smart enough, or nobody would want to listen. And and just get over myself and say, I've got a message to share. And here I am. Hello, world.
Yeah, that's always a difficult time for a lot of us because, well, two things I feel. The public speaking aspect, which most of us are not naturally just born to public speak in front of hundreds of people, and let alone the millions who may be watching you online. And then the other aspect of the good old imposter syndrome that always sneaks in no matter what we're doing. That is something powerful and hard to get over at times. It's good. It's a good feeling to feel like you've actually conquered that.
And by the way, the key is to invoke a sense of gratitude and to understand that you are not doing it. It's not about you. It's about how, it's about the blessings that you've been given in your life. And how is it that I can use these things to inspire other people, not for my sake, but for theirs?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and you do coaching as well, correct?
Here and there, yeah, in when I have the time.
Do you have an instance where you had a difficult client situation and how'd you resolve it?
Oh, I had the funniest story. This was years ago. I was personal training, which / coaching, right? Mm-hmm. And in New York City, and she was this overweight woman, and I worked her butt off. We did like crazy interval training outside and stuff like that. And then we got to the point where we started talking about nutrition, and I said, well, let's go to your apartment. Show me what's in your fridge.
Uh-oh.
And she had like the craziest food in her fridge, like ridiculous. I don't even remember, like cookies and ice cream and anything you could possibly think of that was unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't even know. It was very early on in my career. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know. What do I tell this woman? Like, you're never going to lose weight if you keep eating these things. Mm-hmm. And she was very difficult. But I think that was the first, and that was years ago, but it was the first instance where I realized this connection, right, between the exercise that you do and the food that you eat and how both of them are so important.
Were you able to like actually tell her in some type of tactful way? Or, I mean, what did you do?
I probably did such a bad job at the time. I was much younger than her and I think, and she was one of these like very intimidating, like New York power women. And I probably did have a conversation with her, but I was probably not confident enough in my ability to tell her. I probably failed that one, to be honest. Poor woman. I hope she's not listening.
Well, failure is what makes us learn.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Okay, what one thing in your business currently are you struggling to overcome?
I'm at a point where we're trying to figure out how to take things to the next level. It's like really easy to get from 0 to like 100. And it's difficult to go from like 100 to 1,000,000, whether it's, growing the brand, starting to make money, just that next step, like, which requires a combination of looking ahead at the trends, pivoting when necessary, kind of looking at the bigger picture. Who else should we be thinking about partnering with? What else should we be offering? So it's like, it's kind of not being okay with the status quo and thinking, how do we take it to that next level? Any ideas?
No, it's always a guessing game because you don't necessarily know what people want and need. And the thing is if they tell you these days things change so quickly, it may be different 30 days later. Yeah, it's very difficult. What do you feel is the one biggest business triumph you've had so far to date?
Running sold out events, like selling out a crowd full of rooms.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. My sold out events have definitely been great.
What's the average amount of people that come to your events?
Like between 50 and 100, sometimes 200, depending on if it's an annual event, we shoot for that.
You have a steady annual event right now?
So we took a bit of a break, as all of the listeners can appreciate. You can't do everything at once. In fact, if you do, you're doomed to fail most of them. So we took a little bit of a break from our annual events because we're building out the digital platform right now, and I'm writing a book, which is really exciting. So I've been in a little bit of a cave. But yeah, we're working on some things coming up in the next little bit.
What style of book are you working on? Is it like a recipe book with the full color and all of that thing?
It is. It's a cookbook, but it's gonna be more than just 125 drool-worthy awesome recipes. It's going to be a lifestyle guide with tips and tricks on how to make the recipes fit into your life, basically.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, people are going to really enjoy that. It's good. What do you feel is your one biggest family triumph to date?
You didn't send me these questions. Just kidding.
Not that one. I didn't.
I'm just kidding. I do have a good story. So I'm big on vegetables. Like my kids need to eat vegetables, and as you know, kids don't usually like to eat vegetables. No. So my biggest triumph is every night I have a salad for dinner. Before dinner, usually I'll put the salad out on the table, like as the hot food is coming out. And when my oldest son was about, I don't know, 7 or so, up until he was 7, every night I would say, "Ben, would you like some salad?" And he'd say, "No, thank you." And literally every night I would say, "Ben, would you like some salad?" And he'd say, "No, thank you." And I'd sit there and eat my salad. And it was always interesting looking and different. And he'd have to wait while the food was getting ready. One day, 7 years old, out of the blue, I said, "Ben, would you like some salad?" And he said, "Sure, I'll try some." Oh, man. And I was like, oh, my gosh, that's it. That's exactly it.
Did you almost fall off your seat?
It's like, and I was like, oh, I think what I just did was model behavior, yes. Do it myself, not force it upon him, make it available, and then he chose it. Mm-hmm. And of course, over time that's come up in different ways, but essentially it's been my motto for getting my kids to eat well. It's like model the behavior, make it available, amongst other things. There's other strategies for getting them to eat vegetables. But yeah, that's been my biggest triumph. All of my children eat green things.
That is awesome. That's good. You got tons of good stories, by the way.
Thanks.
All right, hang tight, successors. We'll return to our conversation with Nealy Fischer, as well as quick success after a word from our sponsors. Are you a busy person who works day in and day out? Do you find yourself feeling tense and tired all the time with stress and sicknesses controlling your life, possibly creating a sleep disorder? You know about all the current health topics but don't find the time? Maybe Cedric, Patrick, and Philippe at Bellison can help. Aside from creating modular supplements that can fit your very own needs, you can visit Bellison.com for tons of recipes, health-related articles, and more. Why modular supplements? Modularity is the key because you are not just standard. With standards as high as Bellison, you're buying from a company that helps take care of our environment, doesn't harm animals, and whose products are made of high-quality, premium plant-based ingredients in every capsule. That's Bellison.com. Did you know that you can cook healthy, exercise, and meditate in just 30 minutes a day? Bellison.com. From recipes and supplements to exercise and life hacks to be healthy, Bellison.com has it all. After Bellison, just imagine the immense possibilities you will have as the new you. Go ahead and give Bellison supplements a try. I use them every day, and I feel great, energetic, and focused. Visit Bellison now at Bellison.com. That's BELISAN.com and receive a 10% discount on your first order with coupon code THE4POS. So give them a shot. Compassion and quality without compromise. Bellison.com. And we're back with chef and founder of The Flexible Chef at theflexibleChef.com, Nealy Fischer. Now we get into the part of the show I like to call Quick Success, where you, Nealy, can inspire the successors to enhance their lives in areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Nealy, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
I listen to podcasts and I read a lot of books.
What types of books are you kind of gravitating towards mostly lately?
I just finished a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. It's about the power of passion and perseverance. A very important and interesting component, by the way, for entrepreneurs. Most of us lack grit, and that's why we fail, because we stop when the going gets difficult. I'm reading a book about how to give a TED Talk called Talk Like TED. And I'm reading a book called One Simple Idea for Startups and Entrepreneurs, also great, by Stephen Key. There's a book called Contagious that if anyone's looking to build a tribe and want to understand why ideas catch on. It's by Jonah Berger, also fantastic. And then I listen to Tim Ferriss's podcast too when I'm walking around.
Old Tim, yeah. Tim Ferriss has some extremely interesting podcasts. I can appreciate those. Okay, what are you doing currently to enhance your health?
Oh, I'm actually sipping hot water right now. It sounds like the simplest thing, but I keep a cup of hot water next to my computer, and I have a water bottle with me all the time. Because I travel so much, I feel like we just don't get enough hydration. So I'm drinking a lot. And I'm also working out differently than I used to, which is crazy, because I started off my fitness career with being a personal trainer and working out, and then I shifted to yoga for many years. But I'm actually now back doing like boot camp and interval training. I'm running for the first time, and I feel like changing up my fitness routine has completely shifted my levels of flow state, where I get endorphins pumping differently than they used to, and I'm totally shaking my fitness up.
Yeah, you get more drastic results in that way too, do you feel? Absolutely.
Got to constantly keep it changed up.
Okay, what are you currently doing to enhance your wealth?
That's a really good question. I think I'm planning, I'm not sure this is my best answer, but I think I'm planning smartly for a big thing ahead, meaning I'm not thinking about the daily grind, like how do I make $5 today or how do I cover my costs right now, but it's projecting ahead at how do I make this next thing big in 5 years.
Yeah, the big picture. I'm a total big picture guy, and I think it's very important to think in that manner. What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
A lot of things, actually. I meditate almost every day. Sometimes when you're a mom with 4 kids and run a business, sometimes meditation means like just a simple moment of gratitude. Some other time, other times it's a little bit longer. I go to synagogue every Saturday, and I actually listen to, this is crazy, but like I listen to this inspirational Jewish music that gets me in my spiritual groove. We just celebrated my son's bar mitzvah, so I'm actually feeling very spiritual right now.
Nice. Pertaining to being successful, what do you feel is the best piece of advice you've received?
So this is a good one. A really good friend of mine, when I was juggling a bazillion things, a million business ideas, lots of things that I wanted to bring in, he said to me, think about your life like a computer. And think about all the software programs that are currently running on your computer. And before you take anything else on, consider if there's any room on your hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the successful people understand how much room they have left. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the obstacle to success is not understanding that balance and either taking on too much or not doing enough, actually.
Yeah, that's smart. I heard some of the most successful people in the world, they say no way more than they ever say yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are there any modern technologies or apps that help you achieve success?
Yeah. Let's see. We use Trello to organize our team for blog and stuff. Great for if you're working with a team around the world or people that are not all sitting in the same office. It's a great way to share lists and ideas and schedules and stuff like that. I use Evernote every day. Also because I'm writing blog posts and stuff, and I can actually keep all my articles and stuff in Evernote and share them across team. What else do we use? Those are my 2 favorite, I think.
Cool. What new book, thing, or activity or skill are you excited to learn and dive into?
I think I would say, this is crazy, my kids don't even know this, but all my kids play guitar, and they're all kind of musical and creative, and I've been re-inspired to get back into some sort of musical something or other, whether it's learning how to play guitar or something, kind of like this new creative outlet.
To find a new creative outlet.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good. I love being creative. That's my life. As far as helping our listeners achieve success in whatever it is that they're doing, what piece of advice can you give them?
I think the best advice I can give you to create success in your life is to slow down and listen instead of chase it, because so much of what we're bombarded with is just information that we're kind of striving towards. And I think that if you slow down and really listen to the inner voice and your inner calling, what is it that you're meant to be doing with your life? What is your great potential that you have that's untapped? What is it that you can offer the world? Stop and listen. And I think that is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so many people struggle with that, and it seems so simple. Okay, so what's the first piece of advice you can offer someone who is wanting to begin keeping a healthier lifestyle and living schedule while balancing a busy family life?
The best piece of advice is to schedule things into your calendar, like schedule your workouts, schedule when it is you have time to cook or shop into your Google Calendar, or whatever you use, in the same way that you'd schedule a meeting or anything else in your life. Because I think unless it's in there, unless you plan for it is the key. It just slips away and you go, oh shoot, it's already 2 p.m. and I didn't get to do XXX, or oh no, it's lunchtime, I'm hungry, there's no food, I'll eat the potato chips instead or something. So plan.
Mm-hmm. All right, Nealy, and you have some special offers available for our listeners. What is that?
Yeah, so we create these great ebooks, and if you subscribe to our newsletter, we'll send you an ebook, and every week I send out tips that I don't share anywhere else on the other platforms, all my favorite things that I'm reading and watching and listening, as well as all my recently published videos and stuff. So if you subscribe, we can talk, and I'll send you all that great stuff.
Awesome. So that's theflexiblechef.com/subscribe. Finally, how can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah, so I post weekly on my blog, theflexiblechef.com. And I love chatting on Instagram. So you can find me on my personal Instagram handle. It's by Nealy, BYNEALY. I'm also on Facebook /Flexible Chef without the, just Flexible Chef. And check me out on YouTube. It's The Flexible Chef by Nealy.
You got some great video footage up there. I checked them out yesterday. Really awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, successors, I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with the Flexible Chef founder, Nealy Fischer. Please check out more successful content like this at the4pos.com, as well as those other outlets you can find at Play Podcasts, because they're all over the place right now. Feel free to rate and review, all for free. Thanks for listening, and prepare for success. Thanks, Nealy.
Thank you.
If you want to be more driven and more motivated in your life or business, go to the4pos.com/free book and grab a copy of my book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within. 25 motivations of personal development and life success. Get it now at the4pos.com/free book. Again, that's the4pos.com/free book.